It started in the Ipatiev Monastery, it ended in the Ipatiev House, same name. 300 years apart, one dynasty. Let's go back in time and see what happened. Russia, 1613, a country still bleeding from 15 years of chaos. A 16-year-old boy is hiding in a monastery, terrified, while the country burns behind him. 15 years of chaos, the time of troubles, have left the throne empty. A council of 700 men finally agrees on one name, Michael Romanov. He doesn't want the crown. His own mother begs the delegates to choose someone else. They refuse to leave without him. And so, reluctantly, a frightened teenager becomes the first Romanov Tsar and starts a dynasty that will rule Russia for the next 300 years. 70 years later, one of his descendants changes everything. Peter the Great doesn't just rule Russia, he drags it into a new era by force. He builds an entire city from nothing, St. Petersburg, as Russia's window to Europe. He modernizes the army, reforms the government, even taxes men who refuse to shave their beards. By the time he dies in 1725, Russia isn't a medieval backwater anymore. It's a European power. Catherine wasn't even born Russian, a minor German princess with almost no real claim to the throne, until she overthrows her own husband and takes it herself. Under her, the empire nearly doubles in size. She corresponds with Enlightenment philosophers, reforms the legal system, and rules for over 3 decades. History remembers her as the Great for a reason. Paul I, Alexander I, who defeated Napoleon, Nicholas I, who crushed every uprising he could find. Generations pass. The empire holds, but the cracks are already forming. In 1861, Alexander II does something no Romanov had done in centuries. He frees the serfs. Millions of Russians go from being property to being people overnight. They call him the Liberator. It doesn't save him. In 1881, he's killed by a terrorist's bomb, steps from his own palace. The reformer becomes a martyr, and the empire tightens its grip in response. And then, Nicholas II, he inherits an empire at its most fragile, and makes almost every wrong decision at almost every turn. War, famine. A mystic healer with unchecked influence over his family. By 1917, the same crowds who once bowed to him are demanding his removal. Within months, 300 years of power ends, not with a battle, but with a whisper. Nicholas, you are no longer Tsar. A year later, his entire family is executed in a basement, in a house called Ipatiev. A monastery, a house, the same name, 3 centuries apart, and an ending nobody could have foreseen. This is just the highlights. 18 rulers, 300 years, more scandals than we could ever fit here. Comment Dynasty below if you want the full story, ruler by ruler.